Welcome to episode 29 of No Holds Barred Pod. That's Sal.
Hello! We
I'm
got
Dawn,
here in the end.
And our special guest this week is Nick.
Right.
Sorry for the jovial beginning of the podcast, but we've been having technical issues again and again and again. So fingers crossed you can hear us and see us fine. But yeah. Our guest this week is Nick. He is an anti-corruption campaigner and whistleblower of long standing, which I'll put some information about in the show notes if you want to have a read, because some of the stuff Nick has done is incredible. You may know him on X as Mr. Ethical. You should do, and if you don't, go and find him. He's well worth a follow on there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's get on with the show. Hopefully it stays on this time. We're going to start, as always, with Sal's lovely roundup of PMQs, which was odd this week, I think.
Yes! I'm glad you said that, because I thought it was a bit...
Weird, yeah.
I mean, they're just very strange people, aren't they? I still want somebody... Actually, I meant to make a note of the first question I'm going to ask the next MP I speak to. What's the point?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because still don't get it. Especially after today. It was a real old Punch and Judy show of no particular import.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So shall I just rattle through it? Because
yeah, wang through it. We'll get onto it, and then we'll get onto something more interesting.
So, yeah, we started with sending thoughts to Jamaica, and the Navy's on standby if they need any help, which is great. Did occur to me this week that the Caribbean get a lot of these storms, don't they? And hurricanes. And a bit like when it snows in the UK, why are they not more prepared? The genuine question, I'm not trying to be an arsehole. I just don't... You live in the epicenter of where these things happen and attack, and...
I think they're so unpredictable, aren't they? I mean, because they can predict them to a degree, but then they don't know where it's going to hit and make landfall necessarily, or the speed, because oftentimes they're predicted Category 5 and then downgrade when they hit land.
Bunkers or something, couldn't you?
Yeah. I don't think one's hit Jamaica, not of this severity, in a very long time, to be fair.
This is the strongest one in 200 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All the signs are that they're going to get any better and less severe. Do you know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, due to climate change, probably not. But yeah, maybe preparation is necessary for the future.
Yep. Just saying. Then he started talking about how we've got a massive Typhoon fighter jet contract with Turkey. Interestingly, I thought he raised the Greens. And he said, because the Greens want to leave NATO and me. And I thought, oh, someone's rattled. You don't normally mention the Greens. You normally pretend they don't exist.
Very true.
Interesting. But that happened. Right, I'm just going to take issue right now. Lindsay Hoyle's enunciation needs to improve. He needs to do better. I'm going to tell you who asked what question by how I heard Lindsay Hoyle pronounce their name. Okay, that's what we're doing today. Yeah. So, possibly Nick Smith started talking about the scourge of trail bikes in his area. I wouldn't normally mention the question like that because it's not particularly, country relevant. Although we do all have issues with kids and idiots on trail bikes. And I can't help but think, why don't they just go to one of the many, many youth clubs that we have? But, oh no, sorry, they were shut down under the Tories last time, didn't they? My mistake. Badenoch, yeah, throwing tax questions at Starmer. She's just very, very boring this week. Starmer said that all the good figures are up, the budget's on the 26th of November, and it's going to be great. Almost, I'm paraphrasing. She disagreed. She said she asked him the exact same question in July, and he gave her a different answer to today, and I just put, it's just Punch and Judy. She's after scrapping stamp duty. Starmer said, yeah, well, okay, but you didn't for 14 years, so valid. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm paraphrasing it, so go back and watch it if you're interested. But she apparently bragged about killing people with austerity and urged Labour to continue doing that. She wants to continue austerity and cutting the welfare budget. Tories cut the welfare budget. Why aren't Labour doing the same? That's what it was. Starmer then listed off Tory scum behaviour, and I just put, this is just tit for twat. Someone who might have been called Kevin Smith talked about the Palestine ceasefire not being observed. What are we doing about it, and how can we get more aid in to hold Israel to... Sorry. What are we doing to hold Israel to account, and how can we get more aid in there? Starmer said he was deeply concerned. It's a very fragile deal. No, not a deal anymore, is it? Over 100 people have been slaughtered. You tit.
That's right.
We are... What we're doing to hold Israel to... Oh, no, I'm reading... That's it. He said all sides needed to observe President Trump's peace plan. They're not.
Yeah, I heard that one.
They're not. And he is in touch with the US and pushing for de-escalation. The destruction is unimaginable that you aided and abetted. But okay. Ed Davey, annoying me. I just want to have, like, one view on that man, and I can't because he's all over the place. Started talking about massive amounts of Russian interference with European countries. And can we have an investigation into the link between Russia and reform? I just put, ooh, fun. Starmer said it's a serious problem, especially for the NATO allies uniting behind Ukraine. And this highlights how much of a disaster reform would be for defence. I just put shithouse answer. Ed Davey asked how he could recognise the damage of Brexit while he's refusing to act. He rejected Ed Davey's plan for a new customs union. To which Starmer said... Oh, sorry. Ed Davey continues. He wants to know what action he will take. Starmer was quite facetious with him. He said he's renegotiating, essentially, but did confirm Brexit was an absolute disaster. Somebody whose name sounded like Gavin Robinson from Northern Ireland. I don't know what to tell you. Go back, try and listen to yourself. I need to... The trouble is, the channels who put the names up, I don't like them.
Fine.
I'm my own worst enemy, but what are you going to do? Northern Ireland policing, they've got... I didn't get the nuts and bolts of this, but they seem to have ongoing issues. Something's cropped up that's cost them an awful lot of money and left their budget knackered. So he was essentially saying that you know, they're down 1,500 policemen, all while they've got rioting and stuff going on over there at the moment. I don't know if we're aware. But the far right are possibly worse in Northern Ireland than they are here right now. But it's going off. And Starmer gave him a non-reply. Which, considering,
That's
you know,
his
he's
job,
done
isn't it?
nothing to quell the flames that are burning at the moment, I just find irresponsibly reprehensible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Somebody with a name like Alan Strickle was talking...
Sorry, that was really funny. I don't know why.
Also, I've got half hearing in one ear, so... I mean, it's slightly better since my surgery, but obviously not much. He was talking about one of his constituents who lost their child due to NHS austerity, essentially. They called 111, and had they seen a doctor in person, their child would probably have survived, and their child did not. So they're campaigning for in-person appointments. Can they meet a minister? Starmer sent his thoughts and sympathies and said he would arranged the meeting, then started talking about investments that they made in GP surgery. And then, riddle me this, I've clearly missed something, Don. I am ignorant.
Go on.
I thought that the wife beater had been suspended from Parliament. And he stood up and asked a question. Yeah?
No, he's an independent now.
Okay, well, okay. Sorry, brain fart then. He
was suspended from
teddy
reform.
Bear. I know. Which he then realised you need to go back and look at it. It was mad. He was carrying this small bear because he mentioned his daughter literally in passing. So I assume he was trying to prop that out or something. But he stood there and almost looked at it, and then it was like he was looking to himself, what the fuck am I doing? And then put it behind his back and stood like that.
Oh, I'll have to, because I listened to it on the radio. I'll have to go and watch the video. Maybe it's half term this week.
And very irritatingly, he had a very valid point.
Oh, did he?
God, it's annoying. So I just put carrying a teddy, go figure. He was in a restaurant the other day and somebody collapsed and it took the ambulance an hour and 15 minutes to arrive, which is 2 hours quicker than when I was paralysed, but you know. He said, and then exhausted but very good, very decent paramedics arrived. Basildon Hospital's just been downgraded by the CQC, and he invited Streeting and/or Starmer to visit and help their situation because it's not on. But
fair enough. Yeah,
that's how it is, isn't it? And he's right.
Yeah, of course.
On that, particularly, Starmer again. He must have just had this list of stats that he's just learnt parrot style, and he's just reeling them off.
Yeah, he does.
And then said the obvious about reform, which is ironic because, again, reform want to destroy the NHS. Not that he's reformed now, but not through his choice.
But yeah, and, still quite supportive of them, I think.
Yeah, and they want rid of the NHS, and yet he stood there telling us all how wonderful they are. Pick a lane, dickhead. I Googled this, couldn't get to the bottom of it, so a lady with a Scouse accent stood up.
No.
Not from an MP from Liverpool, so plant question. It was so bad. It was literally, well, reform are terrible and we're wonderful. And then
what did Starmer say?
Agreed.
No.
And started talking about his Turkish typhoons again. So, military industrial complex, yay! Yeah. Loads more people are going to get murdered.
Yeah.
Then I stopped taking people's names at that point. Somebody asked, and this is bad. I haven't checked for a source, but assuming the gentleman's figures are accurate, cancer targets of 52-day, like GP to treatment, have been missed across the board for a solid 10 years. Tell me they're not practicing eugenics. 10 years and we haven't addressed cancer treatment.
Yeah.
And he said, he responded that he knew that was personal to the minister. Otherwise, nobody would have mentioned it. They've invested more. They've invested lots, but knows there's more to do. Now, I'm quite sure this person's surname was Avery. And they were talking about how the big four banks have abandoned the high street while making 40 billion in profit in last year alone.
Mm-hmm.
People need face-to-face contact, basically. Not everybody likes working online, and it's decimating high streets, and they don't give a shit. Starmer started talking about a banking hub. Apparently, they're rolling out 350. They've done 180 so far, and there will be more to follow. So there's a project.
I've heard about that. No, I heard about that, but I haven't come across one yet. But yeah, I know of them.
Is it like an all-in-one?
Basically, like loads of branches, like not Midland. What's it called? Sorry, Nick, HSBC should know.
You don't want them to spend out on their own particular properties, do you? I mean,
no, HSBC, NatWest, Lloyds, whatever, will go to one building, or they'll put them in the back of a van. Like the old mobile libraries, that sort of thing.
To save the bank's money, yeah, because they're all so hard up.
Yeah, exactly.
Tory whose name I'm absolutely certain isn't Agwan. Said that
First or surname?
Well, who knows? I just heard Agwan.
Sort of if anyone can Portuguese or
if anyone can figure out what these names actually are, that'd be smashing. Just out of curiosity.
When I edit this, I'm going to have to go through PMQs and find everyone's name.
Pop the name up for us.
Yeah, I'll put little bubbles in. Anyway.
Sorry, we're on Tory Agwan, aren't we?
Yes.
Said that the Tories committed to the triple lock from April. For the first time, income tax is going to hit private pensions. Can Starmer guarantee there'll be no extension to the freeze on personal allowances? Starmer's response was instant and brief. And he said that the freeze was introduced by the Tories and that's why it's coming in next year. Weird. Graham Stringer, whose name was pronounced accurately.
Oh yeah, I recognise that one.
That the Home Office is a nightmare. Yes, Graham, yes it is. Will the PM give the new Home Secretary the resources to be successful? Because there's been like 12 Home Secretaries. And he said, yes, we've inherited the issues, blah, 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 blah. And then I stopped. So we've finished. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
For everything.
As you said earlier, it's kind of one of those things. If it's kind of, what is the point? I mean, it's always been a bit like that, but it's getting worse every week.
We've got to keep tabs on it because we've got to.
Oh, yeah,
it's no wonder so many people tune out. It's pointless.
Yeah. I mean, if we didn't do this every week, I probably wouldn't bother anymore with it. It just seems like one of those things that's just, at least sometimes in the past with various prime ministers and opposition leaders, it's been entertaining. They can have a good back and forth. Kemi Badenoch and Keir Starmer, it's so interminably dull
and
most of the week.
They're stupid evil.
Yeah, well, there is that. But, I mean, that could have been levied at a lot of people going backwards, including both Tory and Labour prime ministers. But
yeah, absolutely. But, you know, we're in too big a dire straits for anything to be remotely funny, aren't we, really?
Yeah, but we have to try and make it funny if we can. Because
we do on here. We laugh at things. But
yeah, we do.
If they started laughing and joking about stuff right now, I would want to go round there with my handbag and beat the living out of them. Because none of this is funny.
Yeah.
We're 15 years into literal democide of well over 1 million, probably nearer 2 million people now. And nothing. And even today, ministers are still coming out saying we're not going back to austerity. Back? It never ended.
Never really left, did it? No.
So, yeah.
I know. It's crazy. What was I listening to? I was listening to something the other day. Oh, this is not good podcasting. Me trying to remember stuff. But
it's quicker than when I try and remember.
It was just a podcast about something, obviously, and it was just about the fact that our cost of living is ludicrous compared to our income, generalized income now. It's just mad, and it's
equally as ludicrous as the MD to lowest paid staff member ratio.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's that for sure. It's crazy, but it's just the way that when I went out, I told you I went out in Leeds the other week, didn't I? Did I mention it?
Once or twice.
I spent over 200 quid just on a night out, like on a day and a night out. That's how much it costs to have a meal and have few drinks till 11 o'clock at night. It's just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But
can't argue.
That's why
much as your friends want me to argue with you, I can't.
They do, but no, that's I can only afford to go out once a year now. It's crazy. Let's save up all year to go out with my mates and then go out once a year. Madness. Anyway,
going out, they were the days. Do you remember them, Nick?
No, Vaguely.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
It's retro.
I hardly go out. I'm on a pension, state pension. I hardly go out at all. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
fair enough.
ridiculous.
Disgusting.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You got anything to
should we
cheer us
move on
up
to
this week, Dom?
I'm just scrolling my notes. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of interesting reform things that are actually quite funny this week. There's some really bad things, but The Guardian put out an article in the week where they named Danny Kruger as Reform's head of Doge, which threw some massive cats amongst some very right-wing pigeons, and nobody was really sure what was going on. So I asked Gawain Towler, who's now board member of Reform, and he replied to me and he said, no, the Guardian's wrong. It is still Richard Tice. So there's at least one person at Reform who's still talking to me and hasn't blocked me.
That's queer.
So it's interesting.
Why would the Guardian make such an error?
Yeah, it was a big one because they mentioned it a few times as well. So there was a lot of confusion, but according to Gawain Towler, who's a board member of Reform, he said no. So
do you know what? They're that facile. It's probably just one of them fucking with the journalist. For shits and giggles. Possibly.
I think it all came off the back of Danny Kruger writing he did a press conference and then wrote a 3,000 word blog, which was interesting, let's say. After that, he then came out and the Guardian released this article that said, just named him as head of Doge, but they talked about his press conference. But I just wanted to clarify it because there was obviously loads of jokes going around Twitter about whose turn it was for the head of Doge this week. And my name was thrown in the hat a few times. But
well, to be fair, anyone can be head of an imaginary thing.
Exactly. So,
it doesn't take qualifications or anything, does it?
Well, no, it doesn't exist, does it? Things not so funny with Reform this week. When Nigel Farage stood up and put his 10-minute rule bill about leaving the ECHR and the House of Commons, his look at me, I'm over here, Bill.
Give me attention, Bill!
Exactly. Because last week, remember, if anyone doesn't remember, he announced that he was boycotting the House of Commons, specifically PMQs.
In the greatest cell phone in the history of nobody gives a shit.
Exactly. Lasted a solid 6 days before he was back, and standing up in front of everyone, telling everyone why they should leave the ECHR and how Brexit didn't cause any problems and things like that.
He didn't do PMQs, though, did he?
I think he was there. He was sat there, but he didn't.
Was he not in the gallery?
I don't think so. I'll double check this before I put it out. But I think he was in PMQ. That's what I mean. I think his protest lasted 6 whole days.
Oh, God, he's a tedious prick. At best.
But after he got his bill obviously got voted against, and everyone Reform-based came out afterwards saying how it was a betrayal of the British. Millions of people in the country want to leave the ECHR.
No, they don't.
No, they don't. They don't even know what it is, most people, because they're not interested in it. But, if you understand it, you don't want to leave it. But I wrote a little thing because I saw Layla Cunningham on Talk TV, where she is always to be found nowadays, every single day. They love her over there. Playing the victim, basically. And I saw lots of other Reform accounts and MPs and councillors all trotting out the same "oh, woe is us" kind of line, and I just thought, well, this is another thing that Reform do really well, which is sort of front and center in the fascist playbook, is victimhood.
Darvo.
Mussolini did it, Hitler did it. Yeah, Darvo, exactly. But the fascist, it's a real tenet of fascism, creating this sort of us versus them narrative. Oh, we're the victims here. When,
just for anyone who's never heard of Darvo, it's
deflect,
deny, accuse, reverse victim and offender, isn't it?
That's it.
So it's basically you accuse the other of that which you are doing. Projection.
Exactly that. Exactly.
It's literally the national sport of Israel.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh yeah, I've got it here. Deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. Yeah, so yeah, they're good at that. Particularly Layla Cunningham, it seems. She seems to be very, very good at
It's toxic as shit, man. Anyone who does it is lost.
Well, they were all at it on Wednesday after Nigel's little bill got annihilated out of the comments.
Absolute dick.
I read that Labour were told to abstain. Is that right?
A lot of them did. I don't really understand why. Yeah, that's true though. Yeah, I did see that.
I don't understand that.
You and me both.
No. Yeah, I read something about that.
Sarah Sultana tweeted it. She said Labour had been told to abstain.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
We'll have a look at that because I did read that and I meant to follow up on it and I didn't. I just haven't had a chance. But I'll have a look at that because I did see something about that as well. But there's obviously some sort of reason for them. But just, I just wanted to read Layla Cunningham's tweet to finish that bit off because she said, Nigel was booed in Parliament for telling the truth. That's how far the political class has fallen. They jeer the only man brave enough to say what millions are thinking. It's like, oh.
You don't know what other people think. What?
He's built up this messiah kind of standing within his cult and they really do worship him.
It's sick.
Crazy.
It's frightening.
It is quite scary. I don't know.
Speaking
I don't know what to say. Go on, you carry on.
Well, no, it just occurred to me that I've missed something enormous off my list, but it's a reform thing, so I don't know if it's a reformative thing, so I don't know if you've got the Motability issue.
I have got a little bit about Lee Anderson talking about Motability, yes, but you can carry on.
No, I just thought we could talk about that. Can we preface it with the good news?
Yeah, you do that, yeah.
Okay, because it was yesterday. Some months ago we were talking about an account on X that had set up a website. Guy going by the name of Max Tempers, who set up a website whereby people could go and type in a registration of a car and it would tell you if that was a road tax exempt car or not, which would indicate to those people of limited thinking that it's a Motability car. It could be several other different types of tax exempt car, but essentially they are going around hounding people for getting nice shiny cars because they are jealous of not being sick and disabled. And obviously, essentially inciting violence for people to go and track down Motability cars and harass disabled people, which is unbelievably sick. And a lot of us on Twitter got together and reported it to the police, the Information Commissioner, the DVLA, Motability, spent a lot of time doing it, and we've just had confirmation back this week that after a lot of jiggery-pokery and him finding back doors to their fixes, they've now restricted it to a way you can go and the website is still live, but you can put in any registration you want, but it won't tell you whether it's tax exempt or not. So it's essentially useless for their purposes. So we've done it, yeah.
Well done.
We've done that now.
Yeah, no, that's great. And as you say, it was a bit of a collective, wasn't it?
This is somebody who I might add has been retweeted by the Tories and what have you, who this week, Helen Whately again, is tweeting about Motability being given to people for acne and tennis elbow, not conditions you get PIP for, Helen, you thick wasp.
Yeah.
I say thick, she knows exactly what she's doing, but she is thick because even underneath that, what she's doing is just backwards and evil. So, yeah.
Yeah, they're Badenoch was at it as well, I think, yesterday. She mentioned it as well. And then, as you said earlier, like, reform, obviously, that any old bandwagon to sort of punch down on anyone they possibly can. They jumped on it yesterday with a press conference. Another third press conference in 3 days this week. They're becoming
about what?
Just a parody.
No,
they were just becoming a caricature of themselves, reform now, because who wants to listen to 3 days worth of fucking press conferences.
Did you see the Joseph Bone one?
Which,
Did you see the Joseph Bone one?
Oh, that's a good point.
Was one of the funniest things I've seen since the Reform Party conference.
It was unbelievable.
Oh, do you know what? You should watch that on mushrooms, maybe. That's not advice. Just saying, it would be fucking brilliant.
It's terrifying. It's terrible.
It was embarrassing,
one, wasn't it?
You look like he'd done it from his bedroom.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to that down below. Yeah. That Joseph, in case anyone listening or watching doesn't understand who that is, I think he's 21 or 22-year-old reform councillor from Leicestershire, I think.
From his mother's bedroom.
But yeah, he looks, I'm no good at judging people's ages, but to me, he looks like he's about 17. And he put on a lovely kind of beige suit and he stood at a lectern.
Like he was about to sell pineapples.
With 2 really creased unironed flags, one on either side, and a Union Jack and
more than that, Don. Sorry to interrupt. One of those flags.
Was it upside down?
They've bastardised the Leicestershire flag. It's supposed to be red, and he had an orange one.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. It's probably meant to be red, but that's what you get when you order off of Shein or whatever you order these things off of.
Still bastardised flags. Just saying.
True. Reform do it all the time, don't they now? But yeah, he's just stood up and delivered this kind of weird schoolboy debating club lecture, didn't he? That was, I don't know, unhinged.
It was just the worst thing I've ever seen.
I can't wait
for him to imitating Farage. I'll tell you what. I mean, it was all just imitating Farage. No, that's him saying, I'll tell you what, just like Farage does.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. No,
that was Santa reasons as well, I suppose. It was.
Well, yeah.
It was like nothing I've ever seen. I feel for the man, because when he gets to 30, that's going to make him cringe so bad it might actually kill him.
I don't think so. No, I don't think he'll care.
I suppose when you start out in life,
it did make me very, very glad we didn't have that ability.
He's brave, actually. I've teased him on Twitter, and he's always come back. He comes back. Yeah, he says, I'll say, I can't remember what I've said to him, but I've wound him up, and he comes back, and he hasn't blocked me or anything. He'll just come back with a reply and say it was a no chance or something like that. I'll give that to him.
Does he ever have any substance to it?
But no, he's completely stupid. I mean, that's probably why it doesn't affect him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a friendly reform counsellor as well who I talk to very occasionally, who was going to come on the pod, but I think he's been told by the higher ups he's not allowed now. Michael,
I've got questions about Mr. Squires.
Michael has sent me a load of messages and keeps saying he's going to answer my interview questions, but he hasn't to date. So yes, Michael Squires, councillor of Leicestershire. We're not here to berate you. I just am really genuinely interested in some questions I sent you. If you get a chance.
He unfollowed me.
Oh, did he?
Didn't even fall out with him, because he's the only person in Reform that I've actually managed to strike up a conversation with. Most of them just ignore me.
No, Michael.
And he's unfollowed me.
Yeah, so. That's strange. He's quite amiable. I wonder if he's unfollowed me. Maybe he's been told to, because everyone in Reform hates me now.
That means you're doing your job properly.
Well, as I told you last week, David Bull blocked me without any interaction whatsoever. So someone told him about me, or he's seen me, or our podcast about him and ghosts. Something upset him. I'm just checking Michael Squires. No, he still follows me. Yeah, so Michael, hi.
Good for you.
But we've said it a lot, and it'd be interesting to talk to someone from Reform genuinely, without abusiveness, or anyone that was willing to sort of chat amiably or amicably. I'd love to chat to them.
I can't even get my local Reform man to answer my questions on X.
No.
Not even, and not being rude or horrible, genuine, normal questions. What was it I asked him the other day? Oh, he put some tweet out about how much money had been spent on, kids' breakfasts or something. And I said, do you actually understand the importance of childhood nutrition? Like, do you understand we have a national reading age of like 9 to 11? Do you understand, like, I think I just asked him those two questions. No.
Yeah.
He just retweets slop.
Yeah, so many of them do, unfortunately. But what was I going to say now? Sorry.
Motability we were talking about.
Oh, that was it. Motability. Right, we'll come back to that. Yeah, I've just gone onto their website and it's still running. Yeah. I've just put my reg in and it says not Motability. But when you go on the site, there's a big warning saying this site is not designed to target disabled people.
What is it then? What's the point of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
What we need a disabled person to check it.
It says this tool promotes transparency around publicly funded vehicles without identifying individuals. Its purpose is oversight and accountability, not judgment or profiling of any person. I mean, it's just such bullshit.
Which is weird because they posted actual videos of like people in cars.
Yeah, because when they first popped up, as you said a few months ago, they were putting out tweets like, "Are you sick of seeing your next door neighbor getting a brand new car every 2 months? No, every 2 years or whatever. Check to see if they're on Motability." Stuff like that, wasn't it? It was awful stuff. And that's when we all got really enraged and went and we did actually manage to get something happen. Yeah, you did, yeah.
Twice?
Yeah. But I don't know, still there, but hopefully it's on its way out. But it
doesn't matter. It's not functional anymore. It'll say that to any car reg that you put in. That's essentially what's happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anyone with her.
Somebody I've got. So. Was it? I think it was Ian on Vic Meldrew on Twitter sent me a screenshot of somebody's response from the DVLA confirming thus.
Oh, okay,
so we've had it from the DVLA.
I really hope so. Because it's just it's just fodder for reform. And as I said before, they had their third press conference of the week. They dragged up Lee Anderson. I think they must have been responding to so many tweets saying, "Oh, what's happened to Lee Anderson? Is he not allowed out?" sort of thing. So they dragged him out with Zaya Yusuf on Wednesday to talk about their £9 billion savings by cutting welfare, and
by only £22.59.
No, they reckon that's 37 billion by then. They reckon 8.9 billion by 2029. Is that what you just said? Sorry, I'm being silly.
No, I said in 130 years' time.
What, like their 190 billion savings over 80 years? Yeah.
Exactly that, yeah.
Supposedly by 2029. Nonsense. Yeah. And a lot of it comes down to they seem really enraged by people with mental health issues. Really, seems to wind them up somehow.
Very ironic, because they are the most psychologically disturbed group of people in this country.
Yeah, for sure. And so Zaya Yusuf said, he says by 2029, welfare cuts to the number of people claiming benefits for anxiety alone would save £9 billion a year.
No, a year. I am going to go out on a limb here with no source information and say that is abject bullshit.
Of course it is.
Nobody.
Everything they say is bullshit.
I would love to meet somebody who's been awarded PIP purely for anxiety. I would go so far as to say I don't think there is a person. You may be on ESA for anxiety, but anxiety is not a permanent condition. It fluctuates and gets better. Now, I suffer from crippling anxiety, and if that was all I suffered from, I still wouldn't be on sick benefits. I'd cope with it because, So I would go. I would call utter nonsense on that. I could be wrong. There might be some, but more often than not, anxiety comes along with other different conditions.
Yeah, it's codependent on other things. So the Telegraph article. Yeah, exactly. So the Telegraph article has got a table, and it says the most common conditions people claim disability benefits for. Now, that's all they said. There's no qualifier. You have.
I've seen, about a week ago or something.
It's completely misrepresentation of statistics, I think. And I will chase this up, and because I like a bit of a spreadsheet and a data thing. So I'm going to look at this probably tomorrow or the next day, or maybe when the boy goes back to school next week and I get a bit more time. But it's at the top of their chart in the Telegraph. It says anxiety and depressive disorders -mixed. 36,000. No, I can't read. 361,437 claims. And that's the top of their chart. But
amazed it's that low. Because often with disability, certainly, and chronic illness, the side effects are anxiety and fucking depression because your life's been completely turned around and impinged and you no longer have the skills and abilities you did have. That's what PIP is for. Because we accrue additional expenses to the tune of £1,000 a month. And yet the disability payments in this country are well less than the living wage.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to talk about... No, I don't want to talk about pensions, Nick. But the British get the lowest pension amount in the entirety of the developed world. The developed world.
Yeah, I don't know. Tell me about it.
How fucking dare they? I went on had a look at the welfare bill today because I am so tired of them wanging on. I think Badenoch mentioned it today about how the welfare bill needs to come down. Yeah, so I went off and I thought, right, fuck this. And I asked Grok, as a percentage, how many people are claiming universal credit to top up their salary, their wages?
As an in-work benefit, yeah.
As an in-work benefit. And Grok came back and estimated 20 to 30%, which I calculated then asking Grok how much the annual welfare budget is. That equates to about 20 billion quid we are essentially subsidising big court for out of the welfare bill while demonising disabled people. Tell me this country isn't evil and corrupt.
No, it's ludicrous. It really is.
How dare they?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've completely...
No, it's absolutely fine. And it's all linked, isn't it? But I'll just finish off this bit about what they said because it's just nuts. And Zaya Yusuf said that reform will end PIP for, in inverted commas, non-major anxiety cases. Now, as you said, anxiety isn't the primary driver in that PIP claim. No, exactly. It's a secondary consideration. So it's just and I will go into the stats and the figures and I will put something out when I get a chance because this is clearly bullshit because they've obviously taken the secondary or tertiary kind of data point and just gone, oh, there's more of that than anything else.
Our
so
agenda.
We'll put that right at we'll put that one right at the top. So yeah, watch this space, but I'll update on that next week because it's bullshit. And then Lee Anderson, because I see why they don't let him out very often, because he sort of rounded this press conference off by saying that they should bring back what he referred to as Invacars, which were the
Reliant Robins.
Well, yeah, the mini trikes, three-wheelers. That was what he said. Why do they have to have... They, in inverted commas again, why do they have to have fancy brand new cars? Why don't we go back to the Invacar?
Lee Anderson,
oh my God.
othering disabled people?
Oh, no.
How shocking for a massive racist bigot.
And I'll tell you what, even... I don't often listen to LBC anymore, but I had it on this morning, and even Nick Ferrari put this, no, that's ridiculous. You can't say stuff like that. So when you're losing Nick Ferrari... No, he just said he can't go back to those. That's crazy.
Over the... Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I had not an argument, but I had a what the fuck are you talking about moment with a friend earlier. Because they turned around, we were talking about it, and he said, yeah, but you've got to end like the supercars. And I'm like, what supercars? And he went, you know, the people with the Porsches and the Lamborghinis. And I'm like, are you on crack? And he went, no, but they are. And I'm like, one moment.
What, as in,
I've got super
on
grok.
Motability,
Bear
you
with.
mean?
Yeah. None. So can I just clarify for anybody listening, there are no producers of supercars, funnily enough, that are listed on the Motability car suppliers list.
No, of course not.
And yet, people with brains believe this shit.
But that's unfortunately how this stuff happens. Is so people like, you know, you get Nick Ferrari who says, oh, how are people allowed to buy BMWs? Completely misrepresenting the fact that they've put a deposit down, or they... Yeah,
and even then you have to pay for it. No one's getting it for free. Why do they hate the motor industry so much?
Yeah, I know, yeah. But that's why they're, you know, they miss out that bit where the bit where you actually have to pay for it, if you're disabled or not. But, you know, so then it escalates into a Facebook group, and then it's gone from, as you say, a BMW X1, a small, you know, normal car, up to a Lamborghini Urus, apparently, you can get, because it's Chinese whispers through Facebook. It's just mad.
Grok said that, like, the highest performance car type thing you can get is a Volvo V60 or an X1.
Yeah, yeah. Which are both very nice cars.
I mean, don't get me wrong,
you stump up a load of cash for them.
In the interest of balance, when I first saw the car list as a person who desperately wants to be able to drive and probably never will be able to, it's an extensive list. But then when you understand economics, it's a side effect, isn't it, I suppose? The car manufacturers want the options of selling better models and making more money, and it's a payoff of them. It's a quid pro quo, I suppose. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's essentially people are desperate to be ill and in pain when they're otherwise healthy, and that's the bit I don't understand.
I know. It's just such a nonsense, and it's just.
Well, their pain comes from austerity, but it's, you know, it's just easier to go, well, it's your fault because you're a bit.
But it's come round again. It's on its sort of bi-monthly rotation in the far right, in the right-wing media. It's that time of the month again. Motability, yeah. So, and then the last thing. Previous to that press conference, I think it was after Danny Kruger's one the previous day, because, you know, Reform love a presser. Michael Heseltine was interviewed, and he he said that Reform are fascists and they need to be stopped. And he's not wrong. But Lee Anderson was asked about that at his press conference, and he said, Michael Heseltine should shut up and go away. You know? So that's the level of Lee Anderson and how...
That's just advertising the two brains you're dealing with, isn't it? One that works and one that's just...
But isn't that what Gavin Williamson said about Russia as well? Just shut up and go away. He said that when he was minister for whatever he was. Education minister.
He's awful.
Secretary of State for Education.
Fucker.
Williams. But yeah,
he's the one with the tarantula, isn't
he? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's weird, isn't he? He's a bit odd. Anyway, that was Reform's third and final press conference of the week. And Lee Anderson will not be seen again probably for another 6 months because he didn't cover himself in glory.
There's a joke in there, but I'm too tired to make it.
Moving on. Oh yeah, before we say anything else about Reform, I just want to promote my Substack again. I've written a load of stuff this week on Substack. Well, not this week. It's taken me about 3 weeks to put it all together. No, more than that anyway. About Reform donations, and the background of some of their donors is slightly dubious, let's say. So I'm on part 2 I put out today. I think there's going to be, well, there's definitely part 3, and I think there might have to be a part 4 because their list of donors reads like a who's who of, like, I'm not going to say the word because I don't want to get sued. Go on, Sal.
Meant to Google it, and I forgot because I was getting ready for this. Wasn't Andrew Lilly an MP? Or am I getting names mixed up?
This is David Lilly for Reform.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, the
No,
reformed
the name
donor
just
is
rang a
David
bell,
Lilly.
and I thought old school Tory rings a bell.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
Might just be the same
But
name.
no, I mean, I'd like people to go to my Substack and have a read, because the people that have been pushing money to Farage and Reform since the days of that it was the Brexit Party is kind of suspicious, and a lot of very controversial, let's say, people have donated quite a lot of money to Reform, including the owner of 55 Tufton Street, the actual building, the guy who owns it, a guy called Richard Smith. Yeah, isn't it? I didn't know it. I didn't know he was the owner of it. And he owns 2 companies that manufacture parts for the military, transistors and antennas. And he accidentally sold parts to Russia via India.
See?
Yeah. He said it wasn't. We didn't mean to send it to Russia. We just were sending it to India.
It's a common mistake
well, you
to
didn't
make.
do. Yeah. Another interesting donor is a guy called Harvey Bolter, who is currently in Namibia, where he lives, on charge for murder.
I mean, that was.
Yeah, he bunged Reform a load of cash. Who else we got?
And we're not even talking like the silent, sneaky kind of political murder either. We're talking like gun in face murder, aren't we?
Yeah, he's been accused of shooting an employee dead at a barbecue in a inverted commas scuffle. And yeah, he's on charge. He's been trying to get out of it. He's also had to pay off a load of Saudi businessmen that he kind of got involved with and got taken to court.
When I say all these people are psychopaths.
Yeah, the David Lilly guy you mentioned is quite the guy. Russian connections. He owns a lot of land in Russia and has never sold it. He also owned, I've been trolling Russian business websites, like a kind of effectively like the company's house of Russia. So I'm not sure how my people that are going to be our usual Moscow viewer might be quite interested in this now. Every week in our stats on Spotify, we get 1 viewer in Moscow. So,
every
or
week?
listener in Moscow.
No, but there are
every single
expats
week
in Moscow. Oh, no, there aren't now, are there? Because, God. Oh, my God. Sorry.
So he'll be hitting record on this week's episode. But yeah. But David Lilly, apart from owning land in Russia, is the head of a trust called the Tend Trust. And when I looked it up on the Charities Commission, the overview is to promote Christian evangelism, both in the UK and worldwide. So this guy, let me just check how much he's chucked to Reform.
While practicing defenestration on the monthly.
£374,000 this man has donated to Reform. He is also the head of something called Resolute 1850 Limited, which is effectively like MAGA, what's it called in America? Project 2025. It's basically the British version of that, and he heads this up. So he's not only owns land in Russia, heads up a Christian nationalist charity in inverted commas, and runs the British version of Project 2025. This guy, he is
twat.
Elbows deep, shall we say, in Nigel Farage. That's a horrible image to give. Sorry. But honestly, like I mean, Crispin Odey, he donated money to Reform after they accepted money after his allegations came out. Allegedly.
He's disgusting. Man. He should
Got to be careful.
Into space.
Yeah, so I mean, I as I said, I'm on part 2. Went out today. 3 and 4 are going to go out next week, and hopefully
Crispin Odey, I might add, who's one of the major benefactors of the Brexit.
He was hugely,
he made millions.
He did, and out of Russia as well. He bought shitloads of money, stock in a company called Polymetal after the war started in Russia, which is a Russian silver mining company. And he bought them immediately after the sort of sanctions kicked in.
Almost like he knew.
War. And he bought them like a tenth, and he made millions off of that as well. And that was, as I say in my article, there's no suggestion of trading in propriety for legal reasons, but his morals and his ethics are in the toilet. So, yeah. But loads more to come. I haven't even got to Jeremy Hosking and the Cottrells yet in my article, so many more to come. They just take money from anyone, Reform. They don't give a monkey's. Could not care less.
Propriety be damned.
So, yeah.
Is that Reform done? Because it might be a good time to bring Nick into the chat.
Go for it.
How long does it go on?
As long as you want.
Yeah, if you want to bugger off, just feel free, or you can stay and do whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do me.
Yeah, go for it.
Whatever it is you want to do with me.
Well, as we've been mentioning,
let me preface it, because I've told you guys that I'm a bit delicate at the moment. I'm having a bit of a meltdown with the state of X, actually. If you look at the For You feed, I mean, it's just non-stop reform, stupidity and racism and stuff. And the whole state of the world, I mean, I also have got private issues, but the whole state of the world at the moment is just...
It's exhausting,
I'm just finding it's just exhausting. And I'm finding it very difficult to cope. And I haven't tweeted now for about 3 or 4 days. I'm kind of taking a break from Twitter.
Yeah.
So I've never been a lively person anyway, particularly, but I'm even less lively tonight. So you'll have to bear with me.
Absolutely fine. Yeah. Do you want to... You and I have chatted a lot about reform over the last few months, specifically all the work you did around Nigel Farage's house in Clacton.
Right. That was fun. I think that's one of the reasons, actually, that I have become so worn out, because that week was incredibly exciting. And I got, because of the investigations I did, I got support. I got contacted unsolicited by 2 very top lawyers in this country. One a barrister who specialises in money laundering, and and a solicitor who is a very famous media lawyer. And they both offered their services pro bono. Well, the barrister looked at my evidence, because I should explain that, so following the house, because I found out where the house was, found out which house it was, and bought the title deeds from the land registry, which said, I know the Guardian revealed that she owned the house, I think back in May, but what wasn't revealed until I got the title deeds was that there was no mortgage on the property, which meant, to people that don't know these things, that they bought it. She had bought it herself in cash.
Outright.
So the big question was, where does the money come from? And I've got, that large cash purchases like that are red flags for money laundering. I mean, it's a classic money laundering technique. And another classic money laundering technique is shell companies, and it's called layering. When you're laundering money, you pass it through different shell companies, and you hide the origins of it and so on. So following the house purchase, I investigated his partner, Law Ferrari, and I won't do too much about her, because it's less convincing than the other aspect of it that I found. But she set up a shell. Well, she set up a company. Let's not call it a shell company. It didn't do anything, and it was, but she set up a company with Farage's project manager in Brussels when he was an MEP, a woman called Gillian MacLeod. Gillian and Law, GL, and it was called GL Consultancy International Limited. In an earlier tweet, I'd missed off the international, and that confused people. But it has to be international if they're laundering money from if they're laundering money. I mean, all of this that I'm saying, Don, don't worry. All that I'm saying is asking questions. That's
the tiniest if in all of humanity.
But anyway, so there was that, and then there's another company called SW Distillers Limited, Well, she owns a company called Baxter Louse, which is Louse is leash. It's pronounced leash because that's the joke. That's the joke because his dog, Farage's dog, is called Baxter. So it's called Baxter Leash, and the leash it's a county in Ireland, which may be connected to his first wife, who is Irish. But I don't know. That's speculation. But anyway, she owns this gin. Well, she owns the company.
She does.
Well, you looked into that yourself. So
I did. I wrote a big thing on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was that, and that was potentially a shell company as well. And then it was going to be struck off, but then she applied, when the publicity about it all came out, she applied to withdraw the strike off. But anyway, there's another company called SW Distillers, which has got nothing to do with his gin company, and it's actually got nothing to do with distillery or selling alcohol or anything, because it doesn't do anything, has no footprint, has no existence at all. There's another shell company, and the directors of that are this Gillian MacLeod. Do you want me to go on with it?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it's intriguing.
Go for
it. One of the directors of that is this Gillian MacLeod, and another guy, an Indian guy whose name I can't remember. He's got this Rishi is his first name. His surname I can't recall. It's not Rishi Sunak, of course. But they were all at Durham University together. Gillian MacLeod and this Rishi were at Durham University together with Tom Harwood. Incidentally, Tom Harwood of GB News.
Yes.
Anyway, so they've set up this. All these companies are now dissolved because I don't think Farage needs shadow companies. Now he's using crypto, so it's all a bit academic now. But anyway, going further on, then there was an article came out in the Guardian about a £100,000 donation by a very strange company, and that led. I won't go into too much detail about all this, but that led to a massive mansion in London, in Billionaires Row in London, owned by Kazakh billionaires and or Iranian billionaires, and direct connections between the company that donated 100 grand to Farage, a company that was only worth 100 grand, incidentally. So loads of red flags flying all over the place. I've sent all this to the National Crime Agency, so you'll never hear about it again. But it was a very stressful time at that time. A few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But you did so much work. It was that.
Well, I mean, it was. But the thing that annoys me is it's all public domain stuff, and it's all there for anybody. Why aren't the journalists doing it?
We've been asking that since we started doing this.
I mean, I won't name anybody, but I was talking to a journalist who were very excited, and then they dropped it because of the conference. The Tory conference, and then suddenly it wasn't a story anymore because they've got to cover the Tory conference. I mean, why is Farage being protected? I do not understand it.
By who? And why? Yeah.
And by who? And why? He's got compromise or something. I just don't know why he's being protected.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, in my article today, I wrote about Ben Elliott, who, if anyone who doesn't know, ran a concierge service. He still does, called Quintessentially, and he and Nigel Farage are both members of number 5 Hertford Street in London, which is the most, by the Guardian said, the most secretive club in London, and it's where these people, Farage, man of the people, definitely not elite, but this club is where the absolute elite go to meet and talk in complete privacy and secrecy. So,
But actually, I'm going to look into that because it's interesting. Because the Zia Yusuf, he made his fortune with a Velocity Black, which also is a concierge business, that's all connected. Well, actually, no, I won't go there. But the links I was talking about with Kazakhstan and Iran, that the company that donated the money to Farage they were an interior design company, but actually it turns out that they were really a concierge service for these billionaires in North London, and it's all connected. This concierge, and you'll when you start writing about George, what's his name,
Cottrell,
that's all his businesses in Montenegro and stuff. It's
Same
all
thing.
Gambling and concierge. It's all the same thing, cryptocurrencies and stuff.
It feels a bit like we got to the edge of something and we're kind of poking into it now. But it's very well protected. As you said before, Farage is kind of several layers.
His name's not
detached.
His name's not on anything. He'll get off scot-free whatever happens.
Well, I was chatting to a journalist at the Observer who I'm now friendly with, who's very interested in what I've been writing about Farage, because she and I wrote a piece a few weeks ago which almost sort of was identical.
I know who you mean. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, it's Kat Nealon, who's the Whitehall editor of the Observer, and she and I have been talking about stuff, privately as well. So she's very keen to follow the threads, which is great to hear, because when she sort of came to me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I hope you don't think I nicked your article," I was like, "Well, this is the Whitehall editor, Whitehall editor of the Observer." But she came to me and said, hopefully we can do something together in the future, because we're sort of looking at the same stuff, and she's very keen to pull the threads. So there is at least one good journalist and one good paper out there that will.
Seeing your cats, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, carry on.
Well, it just reminds me, I had a black cat last year, which I had to give away. I had to sell my house last year, and I've moved to this flat, and I'm not allowed to have pets here, so I had to give away. I still miss him like hell.
I'm so sorry.
Some friends of mine took him, and I'm going to dinner with them on Saturday, so I'll see him on Saturday. But when I first went to see him, he was terrified of me. He just hid under the bed.
Really?
But this is all related to corruption. I mean, I'm not saying this with like sympathy. I'm saying all of the people who just dismiss all the stuff that's going on. They don't realise all the details.
Linked.
Everything's linked, and I believe like the mafia, or the expert on the mafia, Roberto Saviano, who said a few years back that Britain is the most corrupt country in the world. I believe that too.
Yeah.
I mean, people say that would be ridiculous. What about Nigeria?
Repulsive.
So it's ingrained for hundreds of years, the corruption, and it's. I think it's made me ill. It's because I sort of gave up with my HSBC thing in the end. I never really concluded all that, but in the end I gave up because I knew I was on a losing game. After 20 years, it was like, there's no point. So, but for anyway,
there's an enormous amount of people, Nick, that I'm actually quite comfortable about the reform thing now, because there's that many people who share our point of view on their despicability. They're not going to make 4 years without being unbelievably tarnished that they're just going to look like UKIP again.
I've often tweeted that Farage will be in prison in 4 years' time. I mean, it's slightly tongue in cheek, but well, as I said, his name's not on anything, so he'll probably get away with it. But I think that's the case. I think Farage is so sort of, he's spent the last few years kind of detaching himself from anything that could be linked to him. You got probably closer than anyone with the Clacton stuff. Definitely. But it's just difficult to pin him down. It's like pinning water to the wall, Farage. But I don't think reform will hit the 2029 election. One potential good bit of news is going to be that judgment shortly in Brussels, isn't there, with his partner? She's been implicated in a big fraud investigation, and there's going to be a judgment about that in November.
5th of November that comes through. I think so. Yeah, that comes through.
That might be very interesting.
Could well be. She could end up in jail for that, I think, or at least with a sizable fine.
What's she done?
It's a long story, but I think she did what Farage did. Farage used some of his money that he got from the EU, and laundered it. He paid somebody who was doing UKIP work. He was misusing EU funds, and she was the head of some democracy thing in France.
ADDE, yeah, that's right.
And she laundered 400 grand to UKIP of EU money.
Yeah,
but
she did.
But is that what this investigation is about? I think it is.
How are
It
they
is.
both
Yeah,
not in
it's all
trouble?
the same thing. It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Well,
kind of
he
written
was
off.
fined. As his thing, they just deducted his salary. They said, "Oh, naughty boy," and deducted his salary. But with her, they decided they weren't going to proceed with it. But somebody else has brought this criminal prosecution against her. So it's going to be very interesting. He's going to find it very difficult to live that one down when it happens.
Yeah,
Can I just ask? Did you want to ask me anything before I shoot off? Did you want?
Nothing specifically. I thought it was just good to catch up. We've talked about the reform stuff and the things you've been doing. So
I'm not really at the moment very involved in the other political issues you mentioned before. I wouldn't be able to contribute a lot because I'm not.
That's fine.
I'm not
That's
terribly
fine,
engaged.
Can I just say
no
like a face-to-face enormous thank you on behalf of everybody who gives a shit, because the amount of work you've done and brought the news to the masses, Nick, and I understand the strain and what you're going through, and I am so sorry because you deserve so much better.
Well,
but I certainly, and I know Don, think 100%. The world of you.
Yeah,
you're an absolute superstar doing very, very valuable work that matters to this country. So thank you.
Well, when I feel a bit better, I'll get back on the horse again.
You will. Yeah.
Well, come back and chat as well whenever you feel up to it.
Anytime.
You're always welcome back as well.
Thanks, guys.
Great to chat to you, Nick. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.